Let me go back to verse 16 of Hebrews chapter 9. In clarifying, he had to take away the first before he could establish the second. He had to take away the Old Testament before he can give a New Testament. He had to die in the place of mankind dying before he could give mankind remaining alive a New Testament, having a new covenant. It is important that it be understood and placed in the scripture. For example, in 1 Corinthians 15, when I make the point that he took away the first that he may establish the second, or it says in Hebrews 9 and 15, saying that his death for the redemption of transgression on the First Testament. When you read in 1 Corinthians 15 and 3, saying, Paul saying, I deliver unto you first of all that which also I received, how that Christ died for their sins. Our, you read the word our and you put yourself in there as if the letter written to you, and you a Corinthian that was living 2,000 years ago, more or less. He's writing to the transition generation who were alive before the Messiah's death. He say that, and who were alive after the Messiah's resurrection. So you put yourself in there if you want to, but that's error. You do this to make the same error. Romans 3, 19 and 23, verse 19 and 23, when it says, those are what the law says, those under the law, that every mouth may be shut, all men become guilty under the law. Then it says in verse 23, it said all the sin comes short of the glory of God, referred to by the law. He's writing to the transition generation. You have to accept that he was writing to. Paul was alive before the law ended, before the Messiah died, and he was alive after the Messiah's resurrection. So he's of the transition generation. So you have to accept that knowledge when you read the book is a you. When it said our, you, and you just have to make a distinction. You get a letter from your read a letter from your great-great-granddaddy writing to people in his time, way before you were born, great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, whatever. You just have to separate time. In Hebrews chapter 9 and verse 16, it says, for where a testament is, there must also necessity be the death of the testator. Person given a will and testament has to die before the testament become a force or power. Since Elohim the Father required the Messiah to die in the place of mankind dying for the shortcoming of the Ten Commandment laws and the knowledge of good and evil, required man die. That's the requirement of the law. Easier for heaven and earth to pass away than for one jot till the law. But the Messiah had to fulfill that judgment to man, give his life a ransom, and then the spirit go to hell and body be entombed, etc., beaten and everything before. Since the Father required this, the Messiah had to die, not only to leave a will, but he had to die. Instead of mankind dying, you have to have faith in his death accomplishment. You have to have faith in his death's accomplishment and taking away the first, dying instead of mankind dying and taking away the first, before you can have faith in his blood of being a force, of blood, or being a power. If you don't have faith in what he comes in his death, then